What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Dad Bod Pod, a place for men to learn, grow, and live the healthiest life possible. We are your hosts, Jason Priest, Zach Smith, and Anthony Hudson, and we are pumped for today's episode. If you are a first-time listener, I highly encourage you to go back and check out some of the prior episodes. I think we're over 125 now, I believe. A lot of content for you guys, man. Go consume that shit so you can start getting healthier. That's the bottom line. But if you are a long-time listener, thank you guys so much for your support and your continued support as we work on towards our mission of making the largest impact we possibly can in the male obesity epidemic in our amazing country. With that being said, we have an exciting episode today, and I'm going to tell you where we came up with the topic. We were actually doing a live stream in our free group. And for those of you guys who have not joined us on Facebook inside of our free Facebook group, you might want to get over there because that thing is buzzing. There's dudes over there that are just getting healthy in a brand new or a free Facebook group. Brand new guys coming in and crushing it just by leveraging the support of that community. So go over to join.discussionswithdadsgroup.com and come join us. But this topic came up during a live stream over there, and we do those weekly inside of that free group. And one of the guys in the community asked us during the live stream a very simple but powerful question, and we want to unpack that for you today. So that question was, what drives you? So as you guys are sitting there listening to this episode, think about that as we're talking about what drives us personally. We're going to share a little bit of our personal side today. We feel like we give you guys a lot of knowledge, a lot of inspiration, motivation, science-backed education that you can take action on and implement. But we're going to share a little bit of our personal side today. So with all that being said, what's up, guys? How you guys doing today on this beautiful Sunday?
Doing great, man.
Doing great. Love it.
Always good to see you two guys.
Yeah, man. No, I'm pumped for this. This is an episode that we've actually had planned for a couple weeks, and I had some interviews and stuff that were already planned. So it's one of those things that I just like, oh, that's a great topic. I'm gonna plug that into my mind and hopefully remember to be able to do it. So I jotted it down so we wouldn't forget. So let's just go in, man, because the reality is we're all driven by similar things, but we're all driven by different things as well. We're all dads, right? Like the bottom line is we know that we want to set a good example for our kids. So there's going to be a lot of common things that we kind of talk about here. But one of the things that drives me the most to get up out of bed every day and really not just to stay healthy, but to really try to continue to work on maximizing my potential as a human being is just what I said in the intro and making an impact, right? I feel like if I wake up every day and I can impact one person, that my day was a success. And sometimes I don't take enough credit for that. Sometimes it's very easy for me to be like, well, you know, nobody reached out and said anything on a post, or we didn't bring on a new client today or something like that. And the reality is I know that the content that we're putting on a week-to-week basis is making an impact. And so what do you guys think about that? I mean, I know that I get caught up in the business side of things sometimes. It's very hard for me to reflect and say, you know what? I had a great day today because I know that I made an impact. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, Jason, absolutely, we're all here for that same reason. We want to, we feel like we were put on this earth, and not to get religious on you or anything, sure, but God did not create us, or whoever you believe in. We were not put on this earth to be just average, right? We were put on this earth to be the best version of ourselves. And setting that example, you talked about it already. Yes, we're dads. So our family, our significant other, right? That's huge. So that's an easy one to talk about. But yeah, what about a little bit selfishly for ourselves, right? Why not? Why would you not want to have a little bit of fun and be, the optimal version of yourself? Because then on top of that, you can better take care of the people that are important to you as well. So it's got to be a little bit of a selfish thing in order for it to be an unselfish thing, if that makes sense.
No, I agree with
you. So that's what motivates
100%.
me. Yeah, I mean, it's trying to help other people learn from the mistakes that I've made, and we'll call them lessons, not mistakes, but also, because that's the impact that we're going to make, I think. And we have to lead by example. So if I know that I've got people depending on me, man, that's my drive right there. Like, I've got to get up at 5 a.m. That's exactly what, if I know that people are relying on me to do to share and to do these kind of things, like that, there's no better motivation than drive or drive for me than that.
No, I love it, man. I love it. What about you, Zach?
Man, where do I go from here? You guys pretty much covered it all, man. But what I can say when it comes to motivating factors, like what is it, what's the why behind, what we do? It's funny because it happens in stages and phases. As we're growing up, you learn this in psychology, right? The different psychological stages you go through. Like, it's just all vanity reasons, right? As you're growing up,
Yep.
You get a little bit older, and then you're like, I need to get a little bit healthier. Then you do for the family, do for the kids. It all comes in waves and stages. And I think all of us, especially for us and our viewers or listeners, we're at the stage where we are doing it for our families. But to Anthony's point, it's absolutely right. You have to have some degree of selfishness so that you can take care of others. Because if you can't take care of your damn self, how the hell are you going to take care of anybody else? And it's something that I actually hear quite commonly. So there's people that reach out for our coaching services, right? And one thing that I hear when I ask them, what's a motivating factor behind why you want to achieve this goal? Some of them will start with, well, it sounds kind of selfish, but... And I cut them off immediately and I say, hey, look, dude, you have to want to do this for you. You have to want to be the best version of yourself so that, one, your kids will see that and they will emulate your behavior. And two, you're in a position to even be able to help anybody, because if you can't help yourself, again, you can't help other people. Yep. So I think that's something very, very important that we should touch on, that you have to have some degree of selfishness, because you have to make sure you're in a position to help people.
No, I love it. And I think you guys both hit on something that's huge. I mean, it's the, the flight attendant analogy that we always talk about, right? You got to put on your mask first before you put on anybody else's mask. So I think this is a great topic. And what I want to expand on is you guys both hit on it, but we're all dads. So let's kind of shift gears and because Zach, you brought up something that you didn't just say, help your kids or help your family. You said, help people. Right. Mm-hmm. I don't think that there's very many people, or there's probably zero people that tune into this show that aren't going through life with, needing to contribute to society somehow, which is helping someone. Right. There's not a lot of jobs out there that don't have an end result of helping someone at the end. Right. Like, that's the reality, no matter where you are. Right. I don't care if you're a janitor, right? You're cleaning up something to help people have a clean environment. You can break it down with every career. But what I want to touch on this is, Zach, you mentioned people. And so what about the guys out there who don't have family, who may be single, maybe divorced, may not have ever had kids, may not have ever been married. Maybe it's just your single dude that doesn't have a whole lot of family in his life. You brought up people, helping people. And so that guy might not have a similar why to us, right? We all have kids, dude. That's seeing my kids grow up and being around for them long-term and being healthy. Like Anthony says, the trampoline grandpa, right? Like I love that vision, because that's very much where my mind is at too. But those guys out there who don't have a whole lot of family, I think the end result of you making yourself a priority is still being able to contribute as a positive member of society in some form or fashion. Would you guys agree with that?
Hell yeah, man. I always tell people, so people think if you want to be some kind of influencer, social media like influencer, you have to have a huge following, hundreds of thousands, millions. And I tell people all the time, every single human being is an influencer, just to different degrees.
No doubt.
There you go.
Yes. So when you do these kinds of things, like me, for instance, right? A bunch of my cousins started getting in shape and losing all kinds of weight that they wanted to lose over how many years, but they never did. But once they started seeing me make those strides towards becoming the best version of myself, guess what happened? That energy just radiated to them and they became the best versions of themselves. So, I mean,
that's influence. That's all it is. That's 100% influence. Yeah.
That's influence, man. That's exactly what it is. And for these people that don't have anybody, any family or any, whatever it may be, they have to have friends. They have to have coworkers.
People are still watching.
People. Yeah. There are, I don't know one person and they may be out there, but like, how common is it for the person to just really fall off the grid and just live in a cabin in the woods and never talk to a single human?
It's rare, right? We'd all love to do that for like a week or two, but it's rare. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very rare, man. We're social tribal creatures, right? As humans. Yeah. That's what we do. We need to be around other people. Otherwise we might fall into a state of depression or whatever else can happen. So
sure.
There's influence everywhere. It's just to different degrees.
Yeah. And I think to your point, Zach, so I use the Christmas gift analogy, right? So I don't know how you guys, I think everybody would agree. I feel much more excitement and like just a greater feeling, warmer feeling that when I give somebody a gift that they truly appreciate versus getting a gift from somebody else. And trust me, I like gifts. I like stuff.
Dude,
I mean, we
I
all
am
do.
so on your
but
same page. I cannot accept gifts and look somebody in the eye. Like it hurts me to take and receive, but
right?
giving is amazing.
Oh
Yes.
man, best feeling in the world. All the warm and fuzzies, all the like, you know, and that's influence. That's the interaction, all that stuff we talked about, right? So it's everything we've said, right? No matter if you do have a ton of family or don't, you still have people that you need to impact and that, you know, are important to you. And that's what it's all about for sure. So that's why we have drive.
No, 100%. And the thing is this is too, and I'm glad we went here on the guys that aren't dads, because there's a lot of them out there. But I've been on a couple of calls lately with prospects who mention, you know, I'm like, okay, so let's talk about your vision, right? We're very big about creating a long-term vision. Obviously, what we do is it's a permanent solution for anybody that does end up working with us that we accept into our program. And having a permanent solution means this is not we're not going to just fixate on the short-term goal, right? We want you to have big goals for 6 months, 12 months, whatever the agreement is. But beyond that, what is your long-term vision? And the example I use is, you know, I had a guy that was in our program for a while who absolutely crushed it, like most of these guys do. But he says, you know, I've been a home workout guy for a really long time, but I'm thinking about joining a gym. And my response to him was like, okay, look, like I totally support the gym because I thrive in the gym. And I believe that you can probably make quicker progress in the gym just because you have more options, right? And so I think in terms of cardio, there's less risk for injury. That's a whole nother episode. But with that being said, I'm like, you've got to realize that this is not just about the now, but the longer term vision. Do you see yourself becoming a gym guy long term? And if you do, then let's rock it. But if it's only going to be a temporary thing while we're in this program, then let's not even go there. Let's make you a beast in the home workout setting so that that's already ingrained in your brain, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think having that longer term vision is so extremely important. And so when we're talking about drive, and we're talking about, you know, the task at hand, whatever that may be for you, I think that longer term vision, you mentioned it, Zach, is like that, you know, that drive is going to change, right? We talk about, you know, your why, or it can be a driving motivator. I know I interviewed Natalie Jill right when I started my podcast way back when. You know, she's got millions of followers, and one of her big things is driving core motivator. She calls it our DCMs, and like that's her little term she uses. And these things change over time. And so when we're talking about what personally drives us, look, what drove me, you know, before I had kids was I wanted to be this like big yoked guy with like beastly muscles and shit. When I looked in the mirror, I'm like, yeah, that's a tough guy, right? And now like it's a night and day difference in terms of what my goals are now. And so I think what the guys that are listening to this right now, it's like what drives you right now might not be the same thing that drives you in a week, in a month, in a year. And I think it's so important to keep that longer term vision in mind, because look, man, like we've talked about this a lot. The daily grind is the daily grind, and you got to pick you got to choose your hard wisely, as we talk about all the time. The fat life is hard. The fit life is hard. None of us have an easy life. But man, I'm driven to get up every day to make an impact and also fulfill my potential as a human being. I mean, that's the reality, is like, I don't want to, to your point, Anthony, we don't need to get too religious. I believe in a higher power. God is very much a part of my life. I'll be transparent with you guys. He was not a part of my life. Let's call it wasn't that long ago. I'm not going to go into micro details in terms of years. There was a time in my life where I was not a believer, and becoming one changed my life, right? Like it's a very valued piece of my life now. And so when we start talking about God, I don't want to get, and I know you guys are familiar with Ed Milet. We've all got different mentors in our lives that they'll probably talk about a similar exercise. I don't want to get to the pearly gates and meet the guy who I was supposed to become and only be a fraction of what I was supposed to be. That thought right there scares the shit out of me. And that is a big part of what drives me as well.
For sure, man.
Great.
I just want to, go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead, Zach.
I just wanted to Damn, what did I want to say? I wanted to say, I think that it's just good. It's just great. I really just want to emphasize that it is actually 100% okay to change your motivating factor, because it will change. We talked about it, and Jason said it again, and I'm saying it again. It is okay to change your motivating factor, even if you are a family guy. If your main reason and main motivation is to be a better you might think that that's selfish, but it's okay. I just want whatever it is that's going to motivate you, whatever it is that's going to help you mentally, push you to become the best version of yourself. Let it be the reason. I don't care. Honestly, I'm going to be straight with you. I don't care if it's a negative reason. I don't care if it's a positive reason.
We're
I don't
all
care
driven
if it's
by
for
different
you.
shit, man. That's
It's all about different shit, dude. I don't care if it's for you. I don't care if it's for somebody else. If it's for somebody else, of course, I want that to be temporary, of course, right? But use whatever it is that's driving you and run with it. Okay. I don't want it to be an excuse like, oh man, I shouldn't be doing it for other people because blah, blah, blah. Oh, Jimmy made fun of me in 3rd grade, called me fat, blah, blah, blah. So I can't do it because I'd be doing it for him and not me. No, bullshit. Take it.
Go
If
prove
it's negative,
Jimmy wrong.
I don't care.
And change
Prove
your
him
life.
wrong.
The
There
end
you go.
result
Prove him
is
wrong.
still you're improving your health, right?
Prove him wrong.
Yeah.
So that's exactly. That's what I was going to say, the chip on your shoulder factor,
Yes.
right? So what do you guys think about this? So instead of, hey, it's all this positive stuff, I want to be better for my family and for myself and all this stuff. But what if it's, hey, I want to prove somebody else wrong, right? Or, hey, what if it's, okay, so I look at, some people that say I'm grinding, or I'm disciplined, like it's a punishment, like they're beating themselves up. That can be okay. But in some cases, people can take that too far too. So I want to make sure that people understand that there's a balance there too. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but the chip on the shoulder thing, the Tom Brady thing, like Jordan always talking about chip on his shoulder, always wanted to, even in practice, right? So those kind of things I think hold true as well, but there's a fine line as well, right? What do you guys think about that?
No, I agree with you. You bring up Tom Brady. I don't know if you guys are big Twitter guys, but I try to avoid going down too many Twitter rabbit holes because it can suck me in, especially politically. Like it will warp my mind, and before I know it, I'm like, God, like why am I so angry right now? So I try to eliminate my time on there. But Tom Brady on Twitter is a damn riot, dude, and his. Like that guy knows how to he just loves life. He's a beast. He's a badass. And the fact that he plays with that chip on his shoulder at 43 years old, and he's like, I'm going to come back next year and I'm probably going to do the same damn thing again. And you guys know, that is amazing to see. But to your point, Anthony, I think, we have used the word selfish a few times today, but the reality is, and this is a little side note too, like Zach, you mentioned the vanity piece, right? And so did I when I was back in my mid-20s, where I'm like, all right, well, or late 20s, where I'm like, all right, well, I want to turn my physique into something that I never have before. And I think what we have to realize too is that if you're no matter what the reason that no matter what drives you, especially when it comes to health, if it's to Anthony's point, the chip on the shoulder, like the negative, a negative reason, or if it's I don't care about anything else, it's just about my physique. It's just about vanity. At the end of the day, the end result is still going to be you being a better version of yourself. Yes. There's not a person out now. There's some extremes, right? You start getting into if you want to rip physique and you want to do all this, and you start getting into extracurricular activities to make that happen. You start bringing in steroids or other things that could potentially harm your body. Whole nother side, but that's the exception. I'm talking about the guy that might be driven by just vanity and wants the physique that he's never had before. Still, the end result is you a better person, or a healthier version of yourself. No one's going to say that more lean muscle mass and less body fat is a bad thing. And so the end result is still you being better. At the end of the day, I don't care what drives you as long as the outcome is setting you up for a potential better future. I mean, that's me.
Couldn't agree more. Yep.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think what it is it's the way the society is going today, right? It's something that we talked about before. Man,
this body positivity
exactly.
Shit
so it's all positive affirmations, right? It's people are kind of like hammering positive affirmation, and it can be a great thing. It's a great thing, but they're doing it, they're hammering it to the point that they make people believe it is the right way. Mm-hmm. So when people think it's the right way, when they're playing with the chip on their shoulder, they're like, this is not right. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be feeling happy and la and butterflies and candy and sugar. And that's not life. That's not life. That's not the way it works. I play off the negative probably half of the damn time, because I want to prove people wrong. You know, that's just the reality of the world that we live in, man. I mean, dude, this is true that 50% on earth are not going to, 50% of people on earth are not going to like you for whatever the hell damn reason it may be, because the color of my eyes, my hair, my skin, the way I talk, because I have one crooked tooth in the front. It does not matter. There is going to be people that do not like you, and it's going to be perfectly fine to want to shove it in their face. I mean, not like physically, but shove it in their face. Like, hey, I'm going to show this guy that I'm not going to say better than them, but you want to push yourself to be such.
It's like in the business world when somebody tells you, laughs at your idea. Oh, you'll never do that.
Right.
Then that just sits in your mind. You're like, you know what? I'm going to prove your ass wrong, and I'm going to show you. Same thing with health. Same thing with anything. I think using that negative driving force can be massively productive in your life. It's not all rainbows and unicorns. If it's not a positive motivator, cool. If you have kids, there's a positive motivator, but you can still be in it to prove other people wrong, but you can also prove yourself wrong. You might be sitting there right now listening to this, 50 pounds, 80 pounds, 100 pounds overweight, and not believe in yourself right now, and not believe that you can achieve your goals. So maybe it is, maybe it would be smart for you to use that negative drive, saying, you know what, I'm going to prove my damn self wrong and make this shit happen so that I can look back 6 months from now or a year from now and say, you know what, I did that. And I didn't believe in myself until I heard these guys' podcasts, right? Like, I didn't take the leap until I heard these guys say, hey, you have permission to believe in yourself now. Now step up to the plate and knock it out of the park.
Yeah, that's right. And what I do want to add too, now I'm not saying everybody needs to play with a chip on their shoulder for the rest of their life, but what happens is you do play on the negative side, right? And you come at it from that angle, and guess what happens? You start changing. You become a better version of yourself. And then you know what happens? You start becoming confident. And with confidence comes positivity, right? Yep. So you are just inherently going to become a better person in general as you start making strides towards your goals by playing off that once negative thing. And now that negative thought is just a distant memory, because now you're that better version of yourself that you were working towards. 100%. And then when you get to that point, you're going to want to bring people up with you, because now you know it's achievable. Like something that I do that you guys don't even know that I do is when I'm on social media and I see somebody who went through a fat loss journey, right? And they do a great job, dude, I hit them in the DMs and I shoot them a video. And I say, just great job. If you ever have any questions, any way I can support you, please let me know. Because to my point earlier, everybody's an influencer. And I do this with people who have 100 followers and 1 million followers. I don't care. The ones with the 1 million followers never get back to me, but I'll still shoot the message.
You did it for you, right?
Yeah. I'm going to show love to everybody, right? And I just really want to support these guys, because everybody is an influencer to just different degrees, just to bring it back full circle. And I want these guys to know people are watching. Not everybody is going to say something, because in the fitness space where people are very insecure about their looks, their weight, their health, they won't say anything. They won't comment. They won't they won't do anything, but they're looking.
They're watching.
I always let it be known to these people that, look, even if you don't get a lot of likes, even if you don't get DMs, even if you don't get this or that, there are a lot more people looking at your stuff than you think. So keep doing what you're doing and just keep pushing and keep, spraying that positivity. And these people are going to follow, man. You're going to radiate that stuff. And it's just great energy all around, man. That's what I like to do.
Yep.
And then at some point, they'll finally, after one thing that hits them really hard, and if you're consistent with it, will DM you and they will say, "I've been watching you for a while, and man, all your stuff's great." And that's when you know that you're truly making a difference, which you still know that, but then you know that they are really shifting as well when they finally have the confidence to reach out and say, "Hey, this is what you helped me with. Thank you so much." Right. So it's good stuff. Love that.
Yeah. I know that every single one of us has had posts that we put a lot of thought into, that we put out there into the social media world, that didn't get many likes, didn't get many comments, but somebody reached out in the DMs and said, you know what, like, your post today inspired me so much, or it hit home really, really hard. Thank you so much for putting that out there, because I needed to hear that, or I needed to read that today. And so I think the reality is, to close shop, to wrap this up, I think for the guys out there listening, it does not matter what drives you. As long as you are taking action, moving towards a better version of yourself, don't get caught up in like, wow, I don't have a big enough why, or I don't know what my why is. In reality, your why might just be to prove your damn coworker wrong who told you that you can't lose weight, and you've been struggling with your weight for the last 5 years, and you've tried every fad diet out there and you're never going to lose it. Get out there and prove that damn coworker wrong, right? Like, that's the thing, is like, at the end of the day, whatever drives you, but just take action. And I think that's that's my summary of today's show. You guys got anything else you want to add before we close shop?
Nah, man. I think we covered it all, man. I think
this is good. This is good.
I think it was pretty good, man. I just want these guys, like I said, people are watching. Keep trying to become the best version of yourself, because your kids are watching, your coworkers are watching. Dude, I've had people on the street come up to me. I've had people in Costco come up to me asking how I got the way I got. And that in itself, just having a 5-minute conversation helped change their trajectory. Yep. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it's just one conversation. That's all it takes, man.
That's all it takes, man. So just keep inspiring, keep motivating, keep doing work, and let's become the best version of ourselves, guys.
Love it. Love it. Well,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, keep it simple. Like, you don't have to have this big, massive why, right? It doesn't need to be. We kind of talked about that too. I just wanted to kind of bring that back full circle. Like, it can be something simple. You don't have to way overcomplicate it and think about it for weeks on end. Just do it. Take the action. Let's go.
100%.
Yeah. Time waits for nobody, man. And I think if you're going to sit there and try to discover your why for 3 months, you already have a why, and so you got one life, right? And I think that's the end of the discussion there. If you guys got value out of today's show, do us a quick favor, man. Take 10 seconds out of your day and just drop us a quick review. That's the only thing we ask. We don't ever run ads. We will never run ads on this show. I've been hit up for ads. We respect your time too much. We're here to add value to your life. So if you could please do us that one favor, take 10 seconds, drop us a quick review. Let us know what your thoughts are on this episode or the show in general. And if you have ideas, you have thoughts, you have requests on any topic you want us to cover, drop it in the review. We read them all, and we will definitely make sure that we cover anything that's relevant for our podcast. So the only other thing that I would say is, if you got value out of the show and you know a guy in your life that could potentially benefit, spread the news, man. Get this into the ears of more men so we can potentially help them change their lives as well. So you guys have a fantastic week this week. Get out there and crush it. Today is Monday. Remember, Monday momentum. Leverage the hell out of momentum Monday, and you will become a healthier version of yourself. And we will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Dad Bod Pod.